What's going on, drinking buddies? Happy fucking 2021. We're 7 days in and it's already fucking wild. Holy shit. I don't know about you, but I spent all of fucking yesterday glued to the fucking news. I just, wow. It was fucking crazy yesterday. That being said, welcome to the first podcast of 2021. This one was sadly recorded back in 2020. But before we get into it, you know what we got to do. We got to run a couple ads. Yeah. Those fine folks that bring you me and this podcast for another fucking year and possibly forever. First and foremost, we are brought to you by the video versions of ANWD Drink. That's right. Experience the madness in full HD on Vimeo, ad-free, less edits. You know, occasionally some nudity happens. Occasionally. So check that out today for $6.99 a month or $1 an episode. With the $6.99 a month, you get all... This is the 88th video episode that's up. You get this and all the other ones. Unlimited streaming. Just unlimited. Watch them as much as you want. Or you can buy them for 99 cents an episode. So check that today at www.anwd.net/videos. Once again, that's www.anwd.net/videos. We are also brought to you by the Twitch stream. That's right, guys. Since the pandemic has started, I've been Twitch streaming every Sunday, Monday, Wednesday, and Thursday. I've been going deep into Cyberpunk 2077. Deep. I also have been doing some Among Us, playing Fortnite on Mondays still. Come hang in the chat. Have some fun. Make me do some shots. That's the thing you can definitely do, is get me to do shots on stream. It's a really fucking good time. So check that out at twitch.tv/MattFandSlayer. That once again is twitch.tv/MattFandSlayer. Oh, and also before I forget, we also have a merch store now at anwd.net/merch. Once again, that's anwd.net/merch. I'm updating it and making goofy shirts all the time. Last, but certainly not least, we are brought to you by our friends at Vinyl Me Please. Vinyl Me Please is the Record of the Month Club. The best damn Record of the Month Club. In fact, every month, Vinyl Me Please has one album that is essential to the modern vinyl collection. It comes packaged with things like bonus tracks, inserts, color variants, album-inspired art prints, and custom cocktail pairing recipes. We all need more music in our lives. We need the ability to just, unplug, chill, listen to music. And Vinyl Me Please is the best way to do that. Get that nice, warm vinyl sound. And Vinyl Me Please isn't like Record of the Month clubs of old. It's month to month, no strings attached, cancel anytime. If this sounds like a good time to you like it does to me, sign up today at www.joinvmp.com/ANWD. Once again, that is www.joinvmp.com/ANWD. My guest this week is adult director, performer, producer, Michael Vegas. Michael and I go all over the place. I mean, we talk about the state of the biz, how you get in if you are a new performer, psychedelics, near-death experiences, breaking his foot at Burning Man, a whole lot of shit. This was a fun episode. A little bit of technical difficulties here and there in it, but all in all, a good fucking time. So sit back, relax, pop a cold one, and enjoy, drinking buddies. For the audio audience, Michael Vegas is making himself a tiki drink. You're missing. You're missing out if you're not watching this on video.
I'm telling you, the Naked Juice Pina Colada mix is like pre-made tiki. Ground nutmeg. We need a laxardo. Do you know these the original maraschino cherry. I love maraschino cherries. And these are like, if you condensed maraschino cherries into like extra condensed matter and then made them back into a cherry.
Hell yeah. Never had them, but
okay. Oh my God. They will improve everything about life. They're like everything you want about a maraschino cherry. Makes it better.
I'm in. I'm fucking in.
Where's a mug? Needs a mug. Needs a drink.
Oh no, just mix them all together in your mouth. You'll be fine.
Bah.
So while you're making this drink, Michael, how the fuck have you been?
Yes, sir. Man, I've been really good. I moved to a new place, and so I have more space and like room to thrive as a human being, which is great. I don't have a neighbor that's trying to evict me anymore. That's great.
That's also great.
I have a place to like juggle and fire spin and create, shoot content, and do all the things that I do, which I love. So
are you guys
that's always nice.
Hell yeah. You guys still in LA or?
Yeah, we moved to San Gabriel Valley.
Oh, nice.
So LA County.
Yeah, LA-ish. I'm just, you didn't run away to Vegas like half the industry.
No, man. I just held out hopes and found affordable housing around here.
That's fucking impressive.
Yes, it was. But I think the key is to look when you don't need it.
I'm just planning to die in this apartment. Like, I'm just hoping to just live here forever.
The syrup is like blood, truly.
Oh, hell yeah. I love being in Hollywood. I don't want to leave.
Man, I couldn't do Hollywood. It was it's too much for me. I enjoyed it while I was there. Don't get me wrong. But I just need more space than Hollywood can afford me.
No, I totally get that. Luckily, all I need is space to be able to record in, so I'm good there.
Yeah, fire spinning indoors in Hollywood, not the jam.
No, I mean, it might be one time and then you'd be homeless. And
one good one, right?
Yep.
Neighbors must hate it. Yeah, now I can walk outside, do fire spinning at on my porch.
Hell yeah.
My living room looks like a hunting lodge. You'll see shortly.
For the audio version, it really does. It looks like something out of a 1950s hunting lodge.
Dude, this house was built. The remodel was done in 1941, and we found the blueprints for it in here. And it's just like this creepy old space. I love it so much. I don't know where to sit. I don't know what to do. I don't know what to do with my hands. I'm ready.
All right.
We do.
I mean, your living room looks like a dive bar I'd like to drink in.
Bless you. Bless you. This is like half of my, that's like all of my aesthetic. I like everything to look like a set. I always want to be able to take a photo and just start an impromptu fireside chat at any moment.
You definitely have the aesthetic for it now. You guys on the audio only version, you are completely missing out on the Michael Vegas aesthetic right now. I mean, I feel like he's not dressed properly. I feel like he should be in a smoking jacket at the moment, but
smoking jacket's in the wash.
It's
also raining like crazy here, and this is my waterproof jacket.
Well, I hope it's not raining indoors.
No, fortunately not. That's actually, this is the first time it's rained since I've lived here, right? And when I woke up this morning to thunder and lightning and rain, I was just like, I don't hear a single leak. I've managed to secure non-leaking housing. Yes.
Hell yeah. Hell yeah.
Let's go. Small wins as an adult these days.
Right. 2020, it's like, oh, hey, it's not raining on the inside. Fucking win. Absolute fucking win.
That's big time news right there. Okay. Settling in. We're good.
Hell yeah.
So, Matt, tell me, what's good in 2020?
Whiskey. Whiskey is good. Whiskey is very good.
Yes. Have you tried Screwball, the peanut butter whiskey?
I have not. Everyone tells me I should try it, and it's one of those things where, normally I am a whiskey should taste like whiskey person.
Mm-hmm.
But some people I trust are like, no, it's actually really good. I'm like, all right. I'll try it.
So I didn't know what to expect because I had no hopes or dreams for it. When you taste it, you get like that whiskey beginning, but the finish is not a whiskey burn. It's like you had just eaten a peanut butter cookie previously to taking a shot of whiskey. So it's like smoother in your mouth, and it doesn't like hurt your throat on the way down like a regular whiskey would. I really like that.
I'm kind of imagining it being kind of sugary, though.
Not really. It's 70 proof, so it's not like a full on liqueur.
Well, with your recommendation and the others that have recommended it, I will give it a shot at some point. I can't promise I'll go out and buy a bottle, but if someone presents me with it, I won't just be like, no.
Be gone with your free beverage.
Well, hell, you try to hand me Fireball or SoCo, I will do that.
Oh, dude, SoCo. When I began my drinking extravaganza of, I was going to say like 2002. I don't know when I started drinking. When I could start buying my own alcohol. Southern Comfort was definitely my go-to drink, right? I loved that shit. I would drink 100 proof SoCo. I would like, Stephen Michael would be like, I'm going to drink half this 100 proof bottle tonight on my own. Let's see what happens.
Death. To be fair, in those days, I did drink a lot of SoCo too, because it was just like, oh yeah, SoCo. And drinking mixed drinks.
It goes down so easy.
It does.
Like SoCo and vanilla Coke. That's my jam.
As an old man now, it's just like, no. If I want whiskey flavor, I'm going to drink whiskey. I'm not going to drink a whiskey flavored liqueur.
Right. Exactly.
It's like, I outgrew that. I outgrew Mike's Hard Lemonade. All that.
Goddamn you, Mike's. My grandpa was a Scotch drinker. So the very first alcohol I remember tasting as a kid was some of his watered down Scotch in glass that he would always have. So Scotch is it's where my heart is.
See, I could never get myself to be a Scotch drinker. Like, I'm not into the super smoky. And I know not all Scotches are, but like the majority of Scotches, everyone's like, this is great. It's like, oh, that is just drinking liquid fucking smoke.
Yeah. It's true. It's very true. There's a Scotch called Ashantashun, which we did a blind taste test against a bunch of different Scotches. And we also threw in some like Louis the 13th, just for good measure.
Yeah, why not?
Put it up against Johnny Walker Blue and a bunch of other Balvinis and such. And it won. And it was like a $60 bottle of Scotch. Nothing crazy, but like, God, it's a Scotch that you give to a non-Scotch drinker. It's just, it hit right. It slaps.
I'll give it a shot. I mean, I'll try everything once. I mean, for fuck's sake.
It's not always around. Like, I can find it at Bevmo and like Scott's Seafood or something in Costa Mesa.
Yeah, I'm not driving all the way to Costa Mesa to try a Scotch. No. But if I come across it, I'll try it. Yeah, I found like there's Scotches that I don't particularly like palate wise but I like taste them and go like, no, I recognize this is a fucking fine liquor. It's just not my cup of tea.
Right, exactly.
And I feel that's something that like it's important to differentiate that between this is bad and this is something I just don't like.
Yeah, there's so much of that in like the world in general where it's like, oh no, that sucks. It's like, does it suck, or do you just not like it?
Right.
Because just because it's not your jam doesn't mean it sucks.
Right.
We're trying the other side.
Awesome. There are some things out there that do suck, that 100% exists, but you have to.
Like most things. Most things.
That's a very 2020 answer.
Yeah. Spend a lot of time trying to find what you want. Turns out most things suck.
Yeah. Or then may not be for you. So we're recording this like right after fucking Christmas. How'd you spend your Christmas besides getting that bottle of Kraken?
Oh, well, I went up to Monterey and did a Christmas with my partner, Susie Q, and my dog, Callie, and we saw her parents.
Hell
And
yeah.
just did a small thing, social distanced, happy as clams.
Fuck yeah. Fuck yeah. Nice.
It went really well. This year was great.
I mean, I honestly feel like for a lot of people in like our skew of the world, like the smaller social distance Christmases worked out better for everybody. Like you don't have to explain to your extended family what you're doing.
You don't have to explain what you're doing. You don't have to you didn't have to give excuses as to why I can be here and not there. It's just like, look, everything's COVID. I'm going to do whatever I want. Nobody's hassling anybody about what they're doing, where they're going. It's like, oh, good. You guys haven't died yet. This is great.
Yeah. It's awesome you didn't die. I'll talk to you on Zoom. You don't have to have like that awkward moment at dinner where it's just like, so, what are you doing with yourselves these days? Like, extended family member, this might not be appropriate to discuss with.
Totally. I definitely went to go see my parents on Thanksgiving, and I was like, okay, I will come see you guys, but only if everybody tests. I go to work and everybody I'm around tests. I don't interact maskless without anybody untested. It's just not for me. And so I was like, hey guys, go test. Like testing's all over. I can help you with resources. And it's like just a lot of foot dragging around the process. And like finally they went and did it, which was nice. But Christmas came around and I had gone and tested and I was fine. But then the day before I was supposed to go see my family, I caught word that I was exposed to somebody that had caught COVID like 3 days earlier. Just like, well, that changes plans.
Yep.
Sorry guys, I'm not gonna come maybe kill grandma. I'm gonna hang out at home.
Very responsible of you.
Are you guys glad I test so regularly now?
Right? Yeah. I hope you've come back negative since.
Yeah, it hasn't been a 14-day window, but it has been like I tested every single day after that without even knowing I was exposed. And then I tested like 3 more days after that, and I tested again today, so I feel pretty confident.
Awesome.
I just started getting a sore throat, and I was like, no, this is not COVID. This is because I breathed in air-conditioned air all night. I know it.
Oh, I had that freak out. Was it last week or 2 weeks ago? Time just is hard to keep track of at this point. I literally woke up 8 days after I was on set with a sore throat. I'm like, no, fuck, no. Like, I'm like, okay, yeah. I'm probably real sick, like just normal sick, not COVID. Though in the back of my head, I'm like, oh fuck, I was just on set a week ago, fuck. And then when I got tested like a couple days later, came back negative. I'm like, and I'm not around anybody else. Like I'm literally just at home. So it's just like, okay, I came back negative. I'm should be good. I'm like, no symptoms past that, haven't died. But it was still like,
yeah. So there's no AVN this year. I mean, there's an award show.
There's a virtual award show.
Every award show died.
Yeah.
If you can't be there in person, how many people actually care?
Well, hell, me personally,
that's not true. I'm supposed to care.
You're
I have
nominated,
things
right?
nominated. Yes. But it's just, I just would much rather have a paycheck than an award, and like both are cool. I'm definitely trying to get that award, but it doesn't taste as sweet when you can't be there to accept it in person.
True. And it's not like it's back in the day where like, being an award winner gets slapped on a box cover and it's sold more units.
Yeah, exactly.
It'd be one thing of like, oh, hey, Michael Vegas, maybe an award winner, like more sales. I don't know why people don't just start slapping that on their scenes. Like, this is an AVN award-winning scene online.
Yeah, good point. AVN award winning, AVN award nominee, AVN. Just get out of here. And I missed the T show, the Trans Erotic Awards. Those things were rowdy. It was at the Avalon in Hollywood, as you know.
Oh yeah,
and it's just like. like only 4 people are paying attention at any one point in time. It's maybe 200 people pay attention throughout the night. The rest is just adult performers getting together and being weird at the Avalon.
Oh yeah, that's a good time. Or XRCO was always a drunken shit show.
Oh man, XRCO. Like I didn't even. At least the tease. I'm like, okay, I can look over here and there's an award show going on. XRCO is just someone standing on stage yelling at everybody in the audience to be quiet for 2 hours. I didn't know there was an award show.
Right? Like,
I thought that's what XRCO was.
It's getting trashed. Like, oh, what's something? Whatever. See, like AVN's actual production.
It was a funny event, though.
Oh yeah, always. See, like XBiz and AVN, like our actual like production and award shows. It's just like, well, you got to kind of pay attention to this. And
yeah, they, their music cues and their people moving around the stage. It's very well executed, and definitely respect for what they managed to pull off. If you don't have, man, they also like they're not like the award show isn't in the bar, so you have a chance to get like at least another third of people past the totally drunk stage before you get them into the seat. At XRCO, it's like, nah, man, there aren't seats. You stand up at the bar and accept your award.
Like, I'll have a shot of whiskey and thank you for the award.
Yes. I couldn't wait in line. I actually just won this award so I can get the microphone to get my drink order. Make that a double, please.
Yeah, that is going to be a giant bummer. That's not happening this year. Like, I'm curious to see how the virtual award show goes down, but it's definitely not going to be the same.
One of the parts of human interaction that's magic and parts of human hearing is that we can distinguish so many sounds on top of each other at once without it being muddied, right? And when you're trying to listen to a bunch of compressed audio over the internet and more than one person is saying anything, it is not a fine time. So, like, how do you do it?
I'm painfully aware of that.
Yeah, so it's like you have to make everybody pay attention to what you want at that exact moment in time and hold their attention the whole time. It's like, well, you guys fail at that. Sorry. I bless you. It's not your fault. It's a near impossible task, and you're just not doing it. Like, you have to have great storytelling and like feature movie length quality to really hold someone's attention for that long.
I don't think that even in 2021, I don't think that even works. Like, it might work if we were in a theater and there's like social norms that you have to maintain of not pulling out your phone.
Mm-hmm.
When people are going to be watching this award show on their couch where they could just pull out their phone consequence free, no one's going to pay attention to the whole fucking thing.
Yeah, by the time I remember that I'm supposed to be watching an award show, it's like halfway through the award show, and then I show up and can't quite get my ticket thing dealt with. And so then I get in at like the last third of the award show. And when I'm there, I'm like, oh, this is cool. Oh, look, wait, what award was this? Then they don't tell you for a long time. And then finally the next category comes up, and then a signal goes bad. And then you finally get back in the room, and then it's like the award show is almost over. And then it's like, oh, shit, I should have bought that thing on Amazon. Then you close it and go to your Amazon, get lost in Amazon, come back, and the award show's over. It's really a great experience.
It's going to be amazing.
Can all award shows go like that?
What they got to do is to keep everyone's attention, like hold raffles. Like, if you watch from the beginning, you get a number, and we'll randomly call your number to win a prize sometime during the award show.
Oh, good luck, dude. That shit would. I don't even think that would work. Like, these people are so used to getting like free stuff and random awards for people. It's like, why am I here? This is not making me money.
Yeah. You don't even get to put on a fancy dress, or are you going to dress up for it? I mean, you don't have to, but
do they tell people if they've won beforehand so they can be like in their tux already?
I don't know. I doubt they're going to, just because the amount of drama about people knowing beforehand. Because that would leak like a sieve. Everyone would talk about it.
Yeah. I just, from what I heard, one of the award show things they were going to do is like send a camera crew or someone with the camera to each award show person's house and then like film them as the awards are going down, so you can like cut to. Like, I don't fucking know, right? It seems possible without having to, because they're not spending all the money they would normally spend on a venue and all that. That maybe they would be able to pull that off, but also who cares?
But they're also not making the money from the expo that they normally would to pay for all this.
Right.
So, plus, you go to knock on some random performer's house with a camera. If they're not expecting you, one, they might not even be there. Like, in reality, they're just watching it on Zoom at someone else's house, or...
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Or two, they might think it's some crazy fan and just not answer the door.
You can't hold still. I keep moving around.
It's all good.
I just like half of my joy of setting up the lighting in my living room is moving around and testing out different lighting scenarios. I like this one. That's good.
That was good.
Yeah.
Very, very much a Christmas card. Like, just season screen was in the bottom left-hand corner. Boom.
Yes. Now we're full Christmas.
Oh. He's got a fur baby. That does not want to be here, apparently.
This cat loves it. This cat, you can actually touch with your feet. It will crawl under the covers, and you can kind of like smash it with your feet, and it loves it.
Nice.
I've never met a cat that was so like, okay, I'm gonna let you do whatever.
Cat's just like, I want affection, whatever it takes. Just give it to me.
This is an actual penthouse pet. It came from Kelly Holland's Animal Rescue.
So, what have you been doing with yourself the rest of 2020? Like, I haven't talked to you in a while.
Yeah, I mean, things have, like, I see everybody online because most of life is online right now. So I feel like I'm like caught up in so many ways, but also totally in the dark in so many ways. So for me, 2020 was going great. I had just, got some deals going through with kink.com and Adult Time to sell my content for distribution on their platforms. So Peghim's doing great over there. For those that don't know, peghim.com is the pegging website that I started up to show people that getting pegged isn't about being submissive. It's just about getting whatever the fuck you want and getting it in your butthole. And so, that was excellent. And I had been making this push prior to 2020 of really getting my own content going because finally just someone told me, it's like, you know what? Content's like real estate. It's going to go online and sit there and just make money. And like the more views it has, you make a long video. You could be the longest video that comes up when people search. And so like sometimes you search by video length, sometimes you search by video quality. So just making content that really hits these boxes and learning the business better has been the focus of my 2020. Content production picked up again, I don't know, a few months ago. And so I have, gotten back into the loop and just been adjusting to testing protocols and keeping everybody safe, which has been nice. Like I said, I moved out here to San Gabe's Valley and I love it. Things are going how I would have hoped other than the pandemic, which has been terrible. And it's been cool to see performers realize the power that they have finally. Like, why are we showing up doing this job for another company when people just want to give us money, not the company money? So, like, cool.
I've talked about this with a bunch of other performers on the show before, but it's one of those things where, like, 10 years ago, you couldn't have done it. It just the quality of the equipment just wasn't affordable for most people.
Right, exactly.
But now, if you were to get in today, I'm like, if you're not planning to be your own production house, don't do it.
Yeah, I get asked so regularly, like, hey, like, how can I get into adult films? And, previously, the answer was find a girl that will have sex with you on camera. And start that way, make friends with people in the adult industry and start showing up face to face. So you're not like people get used to you and see that you're around and like, You're not just like, who the fuck is this guy? Why is he here trying to have sex with us? Like, get out of here.
Right, some fucking creep.
Yeah, some fucking creep. You know, you have to show you're not a creep. It's like befriending people in school. You just have to know how to socialize enough to do it. But now it's like, if you weren't in already, I don't even know how to tell you to get in. You got to, first off, you have to convince a bunch of strangers that were already a tight-knit, closed group that you are a safe person, not only trustworthy in your regular life, but also COVID trustworthy and STI trustworthy. And so it's like, good luck. I don't really know what to tell you other than to just like, it's always guys that ask me. So it's like, start putting your dick on the internet. Like, show your face and your dick at the same time on the most popular pornography websites you can, as much as you can. Get like, that's it. You think you're here to have sex with women? Yes, you are. Eventually. But how do you get there now? You have to show that you're like really trying to do it, right? So if you're willing to sacrifice reputation and everything else because like you're here to make some porno and that's what you love, people will start to see you. People will start to see that.
That's one of the ways like people used to get in is like go be a fucking mope at a bukkake. Like, oh yeah, no, I'm willing to just do like the most degrading thing I could do as male talent, like jerk off with a circle of other dudes and maybe not even get paid for it if you don't pop fast enough.
Yeah, exactly. Oh man, God bless Jim Lane and the bukkake races. Well, that's some crazy porno. But yeah, these days it really just comes down to like, are you able to catch people's attention on the internet with your content? There are girls that come in and just like, boom, they're popular all of a sudden. It's like, because they already started their social media following long ago. You're hitting me up and you have like 200 followers. I don't think you're just going to get more popular when you show people your dick all of a sudden.
Yeah, you might get less popular depending on the dick.
Yeah, generally you're not. I started asking people, it's like, are you getting laid already on your own? Are you already having all the sex that you want? Or like, are you here just to get laid? Because it's not going to get you laid here. Nope. It's the opposite of where you need to be. So like, hopefully you got a solid sex life and things are already going great for you, buddy. We all want you here. We all want more talent. We all want better talent. As a director and producer, I'm always looking for someone that is going to be good at this job, right? You can only shoot so many scenes with the same people.
Yeah.
And so like, we want you to succeed. We want you to do this. We hope you're not a creep. We hope you can have sex on camera, and we would love to give you a chance if you just take these steps to get there. Like, show us you really want it.
Yeah, and
I think what people don't understand is like, it's a large financial gamble to hire a new person, and like that's really what it comes down to. It's like we're not trying to keep you from anything. We just don't want to waste $7,000 on you.
Right, because with a woman you can at least fake a lot of things.
Exactly.
A dude who fails, you can't fake that.
No, and it just looks bad, and like it makes bad porno. That lighting is terrible. Yeah, it just makes for bad porno. And, what a lot of people forget is like, we're here to make a product. That's the number one goal. All of this stuff, yes. What makes a mainstream set that's like a good running mainstream set is the ability to get the film while you're having a good time doing it and build that authenticity. But even if the authenticity doesn't exist, you gotta get that motherfucking movie in the can by the end of the day.
Right. It's the pornography industry, not just, pornography. It's a business. People forget that.
Yeah. And now, because people are able to do their own content at home, like, you should all be succeeding more. You are in the most comfortable places you'll ever be making content. like you're not going to make it if you can't do it in your own home.
So. Right, especially if you're shooting with your regular partner. Like, this is the person you, in theory, should know how to please and knows how to please you.
Yeah, exactly. And part of this new content production game is like, how interesting can you make it? Like, how pretty can you make your content? What's making your stuff unique? Is it something unique about you? Is it something unique about how you shoot your content? Like, you got to be building a product that isn't just everybody else.
Right.
And so there's this like business and artistic side of getting the content production going as well.
Yeah. MindGeek already has McDonald's of porn covered.
Yeah, exactly. And so like where are you going to fit in to make sure that you're not just being eaten up?
You got to stand out and be the David Lynch of porn, not.
Yeah, totally. Another product. And, one of the other cool things that came out of 2020 for me, it kind of came at the end of the year here, and is actually something that is starting in 2021, is I had one of my favorite companies, one of the people that I work for the most, both as talent and directing and producing, was like, hey, we just did this self-shot project with you. It's like a quarantine non-sex role. We made like a 20-minute non-sex film. And after we turned it in, they were just like, okay, we see what you're doing here. We see that you are trying to be a filmmaker and not just make some porno. So what we want to do is like help cultivate your directing abilities and like tell you how we do it and like tell you why the scripts are the way they are and give you the access to these tools that we have to like help make you a better director. And it's like, fuck yes. I'm so excited about that. It's like, man, that's, I've been in front of the camera for a long time. It's like, I feel like I know how to do it. I know how to do this trick. I've done it so many times now. I know what the directors are looking for. I can do the trick in front of the camera really well because I understand what they're looking for behind the camera. And so now getting that chance to step into that role is just very exciting. I had done a few successful projects on my own without this like guidance that they were giving me. And I think that is what made them want to be like, okay, let's get this guy on board. We want him as part of the team.
That's fucking awesome because, as you said, it's a business and they're investing time and money in you at this point.
Exactly.
Like, and that's a huge boost to your fucking, that's so awesome to be like, no, we believe in you enough to actually want to not just, use your dick. We want to use your brain.
Yeah. We're not going to just like say, here, make us a porno. We're going to tell you, hey, make us a porno that fits these requirements because that's what sells as this product. And we see that you are able to do that and like get these things from people and get them to act and really do it. So like, gosh, just I definitely my mom hates that I am an adult film actor and director, but I told her the other day, I was like, Mom, I got a corporate movie production house to agree to regularly give me money to make movies about pretty much whatever I want as often as I can. How can you have any negative thoughts about that?
Right.
Oh, it's so good. I have definitely had some pretty cool orgasms in my day, but nothing is as satisfying as when your mom's therapist validates you in front of her.
Oh, it's so good. How'd your mom respond to that?
Incredulous. Literally couldn't even come up with words to say, I don't have words to respond to this. It was just like
but I pay you. You're supposed to take my side.
Yeah, pretty much. And previously in this misunderstanding is what I'll call it, that my mom and I had. I was like, we couldn't get this therapist to work out. I have suggestions. Like, I'll help you out. I'd love to go to therapy and talk it out. And she's like, no, I'll find someone. It's like, okay, and it's always risky to go see someone else's therapist because maybe they'll just try to invalidate this person. You have like no idea what's going on with them, right? And she just like, man, I don't think she was so happy about that news after that day. But it fucking worked.
That's fucking amazing. That is so good.
Yeah, so good. So validating. It's like, Mom, I've been trying to get you to be proud of me for like 11 years now. And you're just hanging on to something to prevent me from being an adult and successful in your head. Like, you don't want to be happy for all this success. I'm going to show you. Yeah.
Hopefully
One of the
she'll come to
5
grips.
positive games.
Hopefully she'll fully come to grips with it. Hopefully.
She's trying. She's really trying. My whole family is so like they'll fight mean, and so she's not used to being able to like talk things through without being destroyed. So it's like, nah, man. Like we can all have our own opinions. Cool. I'm not going to be mean to you when we fight, but why we're here now is because you're being mean to me when we fight. I'm like, I'll just stop showing up to the fight. I don't need this.
Right. You're not a child. You're not financially dependent on her. You don't have to put up with this shit.
Yeah, that was exactly what it came down to. It's like, you know, one of the, like you're in my therapy session with me now. One of the things that I found out that was nice to see a different viewpoint from is like when I had a near-death experience in a motorcycle accident, and you know, it was always my trauma, and so I was not refusing, but like I wasn't ever able to see like, wow, that must have really scared you guys really bad. And so there's this fear of always losing your son that's just like crept into every area after that. Like, oh, I know when I have traumatic responses to things, they're not usually very pretty. And so like what you've been doing is likely a traumatic response. Oh no, I love you guys anyway. It's so good. So it's
like,
been going great.
That's fucking awesome. It's like, yeah. Oh, that's one thing that 2020 should have taught fucking everybody is like, everyone needs a little therapy.
Everyone. We've all got some, got to do some hard times.
Yeah. It's just been traumatic for fucking everybody. Even if it wasn't traumatic this year, it's pretty fucking hard to make it through life with zero fucking trauma. You probably need to talk to somebody. Probably. Yeah,
and you know, the stigma around mental health has been changed so significantly. It's normal to need, you know, now just because you need to talk to somebody doesn't mean you're weak. We're all finally realizing that it's like, I mean, I say we're all, I hope we're all finally realizing that like you can't be someone else's therapist. Your friends and your family have got to go to therapy also. Like it's not fair or right of them to try to use your time and energy that way. Cause like, you're not a fucking professional.
Well,
and if you are a professional, you can't do it. You can't morally or ethically do it for your friends and family. It's like, you have to find outsiders.
Well, and the thing about it is, even if you are attempting to, you know, be a support system for your friends and family, you should definitely still try to support your friends and family, but you have to acknowledge that, like, you know, your opinion's biased no matter what. Like, if you as my friend come up to me and be like, oh, my girlfriend is treating me like shit, I can't look at that objectively and be like, well, she might be going through something. Be like, no, fuck her, man. Fuck that bitch. You know, I'm going to have my friend's side.
Yeah. And for me, it's not even, you know, it's not when it's like, oh man, I've just had a hard day. You want to talk about it? It's like, of course I want to talk about it with my friends. Yeah. When you have a repeat problem that you ruminate on and that you can't get past, it's like, okay, I'm not an outside party to this. And I've seen you go through this cycle a bunch of times, like outside opinion time.
Yeah, 100%. A great example that like came to me years later was I was going through a messy breakup and I went to one of my best friends for advice. And at the time, his advice made sense. In retrospect, I'm like, oh, he had just gone through a messy breakup a couple months earlier and was 100% projecting his own fucking issues on me. And I followed his advice because it just made sense at the time. Like,
no.
Yeah. But, you know, that's why you need a fucking professional to be like, no, dummy. you need to think about this a little differently.
Yeah. And, man, God bless professional mental health care workers. Whew. What a time.
I know.
It's the human brain, and what it does to itself is incredible.
It does. It is. And it's just crazy to think of, like, our grandparents' generation like went off to fucking war and lived through a depression and like, nah, you can't talk to anybody about this shit.
Talking is weakness, don't you know?
Right.
You know, and like, it's one of the things that I've been trying to get my mom to understand is my psychedelic use, right? Like, I had done some psychedelics before, and like, it was like, cool, I did a couple mushroom trips, whatever. And finally, after I had like this near death experience, and like I came back and I started living my life differently, and I started doing more psychedelics, and like they literally healed me and like helped me get over depression and all sorts of traumas. I was like, Mom, this stuff, like, you got to check it out, dude. Like, you will, even if you don't talk to anybody else, you'll finally talk to yourself, and you might listen. Don't they help?
For fuck's sake, they are doing psilocybin trials at Johns Hopkins for PTSD.
I literally sent her that thing, and they found out that a psilocybin-induced God experience is no different than a spontaneous God experience, right? And so people that have these visions, it's like, what do you think these fucking tribes have been doing all along? And like getting regular people to understand, this medicine wasn't exclusive to just the people, like to the higher ups. It was like, here, you do this, and like this is how you become a human being and understand things.
Well, there's the whole stoned ape theory, which is like we became humans because of psilocybin.
I believe it.
Yeah, as more and more as I play with it, it makes more sense than like being designed by some fucking other being.
It's such an incredible substance. As I said earlier, I spin fire and I do all these things. And I had, from that near-death experience, I had a traumatic injury in my shoulder. And when I finally went back and started like spinning glow sticks and doing stuff like that, I did it on mushrooms. And I was just like, oh shit, like I am so much more, like my left side doesn't feel like trauma. Right? It feels like my left side again. I can think about it without having to also mentally retreat from how much it was hurting me previously. So it's like I can fully go into that part of my body again without fear. And I was able to like relearn movements and like heal myself and like be able to wiggle around again. It's like, oh shit, like this stuff's incredible. It's incredible that I'm able to like revisit traumas without like fully breaking down.
If you don't mind me asking, how long ago was the motorcycle accident?
Ooh, I think it was 2006, right? No, 2000. Yeah, it was in 2006 because I got married the first time in 2007. So it's been a while, and it wasn't until 2012 that I finally started having flashbacks to like remembering about the incident a little bit.
And then right in 2012, is that when you started getting heavier into the psychedelics?
It wasn't even psychedelics that did it. Like I had been smoking weed like I had done so many times before that. And I was watching the Nitro Circus movie. I don't know if you remember that, but Travis Pastrana and his crazy friends. There's this one stunt where they go to jump a car a long distance and do a full barrel roll. And it's like they're jumping like 23 cars in this other car. And I was like, looking crazy. And they talk about it beforehand. They said, like, the worst thing that can happen is if the car lands on its roof because it's like the weakest part of the bar and like how you die.
Yeah.
So that they do it, and it's just like, oh, great. It went the worst way possible, didn't it? And as the car was like upside down in the air, I saw what was coming, and my body involuntarily just went like crumpled like this. And then I started crying. I was like, what the fuck is happening to me? Like, this is, I just remember the way that they would have landed was the same way that I broke my neck, which was like, I lawn darted, like hit my head like this. And so like, it just brought back this experience of like, oh shit, that's what happened to me. Like I bent my head this way and I reached forward too far and like fucked the shoulder up and like, just like tried to like Superman lawn dart off the front of a motorcycle. I still don't know what happened. Still can't come up with like how it ended up happening, but for the best I can tell, I just slapped the ground real hard. And yeah. And so like, that was the first thing I remembered. But what really was a profound experience was that the crying wasn't sadness. It wasn't fear. It wasn't joy. It was like every emotion I had ever experienced all at once. It was like pure gratitude for everything good and bad I've ever experienced. I was so thankful to be alive. And like, great. Nothing is a problem ever again. because like even when shit sucks, like dude, I'm alive, and that's cool. Um, and so it's just like this profound change that happened. And like what really was the amazing part about that is I was only able to lift this arm up to here. I couldn't get it back behind me anymore. Like my shoulder was stuck here. And after I just cried, like I could move my arm again. It's like, holy shit, you mean I just had to cry and I would have mobility again? What the fuck does that mean? And so I went further on this journey, and finally getting back to like talking with my therapist now, because I went through a number of other incidences where it just got to the point where it's like I was having traumatic responses to sirens, where I was like I would start crying and I couldn't see when I was driving my car. If like an ambulance was going by, I'm just like, oh god, I can't see, I can't even pull over. And so finally I went and I talked to the therapist, and she gave me this book called The Body Keeps the Score. And it talks about how trauma lives in your body and like in the myofascia of your body and in your muscles. And it's just like this deep memory that is unconscious to you that the body hangs on to. And so many traumas and like pains that we have don't exist. It's just like fear memories that we hold on to within our life essence. So like, God, I don't even remember where I was going with this. It's always such a fun, exciting journey to look back on. When I end up talking about this, it's like I have new profound realizations each time about like, oh yeah, that seems to be what was going on. Like, cool.
Well, it's so interesting that the fact that like we think that we're so fucking advanced as humans at this point, and we still don't know shit. Like it seems like every fucking day we're just learning more shit as like a society, as a species. Like no one had said to me in the 90s, like, oh yeah, your body physically holds on to trauma. Like no one. If people knew, they weren't discussing it.
Right? Like, Michael, you should do rehab on that muscle. And you should rub that muscle, even though it hurts, because it's actually like that fear is going to get locked into that joint in your body, and you're going to compensate and ruin other things because you were too afraid to like feel the emotional pain that comes along with the physical pain that lives within your body. It's like, God, if somebody could have told me that, it would have helped me prepare for like emotional trauma and so many other things that I could just be like, no, we'll be okay. We'll get through this, Michael.
I wish we'd be alive to see it when society would be like in 100 fucking years. Assuming we haven't glassed ourselves and like living in a Mad Max wasteland by then, but because that could happen too.
Yeah, we're going for it. It seemed to be.
Yeah, 100 years time, it's either going to be utopia or dystopia. No in between.
No need for in between. It's a very Hunger Games type situation where there's like utopia and then dystopia.
Man, I keep joking about this year. It's like, this is not the dystopia I signed up for. This is not it.
No, I've seen a lot of other representations of dystopia. This is like the negging of dystopias. It's the negging of future concepts, right? Like you don't know why it hurts so much and why you feel shitty at the end, but it keeps happening. You're just like, oh God, that was a compliment, but I feel like shit. Fuck you, 2020.
So true. It's so true. Oh man. How often are you using psychedelics right now? Like,
much less often than I was. Around 2012, I was early on in my journey, and I was like ready to push myself and see where it's like, let's break my mind, because I already feel broken. And so I would go out to like nightclubs and do a ton of psychedelics, and like eat a bunch of mushrooms. And, I ate a half ounce of mushrooms and went to EDC one time and had an ego death experience while I was at EDC. Like, it was crazy.
Like, tell me about it, like, if you can. I mean,
Yeah, totally. First I started eating mushrooms again, and that was great because I had learned that, back up. I did some LSD, hung out with Misha Brooks, and it made me realize that I had been lied to about what substances are and what they do. Like, it's like, okay, there are things I know about certain drugs, and like this one was just purely, all of my knowledge was fear-based. So like I'm going to do it again and like look into it and really research things, because like now the internet exists instead of just my fears, right? So I could go consult things, and I found a group of people that so like I know this girl named Tea Fairy, who got that name because she served tea the longest in a psychedelic tea house. She stayed awake for like 16 hours doing LSD, serving tea flawlessly, and ended up becoming friends with this man who was named Alexander Shulgin, who the government had given access in like the license to experiment with psychedelic medicines, right? Like he was the psychedelic G, and she was close to him. And like I got knowledge from, like firsthand use knowledge instead of secondhand fear experience of people that have done like a lot of the drug. Because there was always this fear of like, if I do this, I'm going to end up like fucked up.
Well, I mean, we're roughly the same age. What was it like? The old urban legend that if you do 7 hits of acid, you're legally insane.
Mm-hmm.
There's
just
all the
fear-based stuff.
Yeah, all that fear-based shit. I mean, I definitely fucked around with acid in high school and had a good time with it, but like, there was always that in the back of your head, like, oh, if I take the wrong fucking tab here, this could fuck me for life.
Uh-huh. Exactly. There's this, like I did acid to a point one time where I was like, I feel like I was sitting on the edge of a cliff, and I was like, I can see why people would lose touch with reality. Like, you really go on a good one, and you're not a grounded person. You don't have like a way to get back to your reality, and like keep your mind straight. Like, you might break it, but that's LSD, right? Mushrooms is a different deal. Like, you can do pretty much as many as you can eat before you feel like sick and start throwing up. And like the chemicals of the plant, like the composition of the fruiting body of the plant, and the psychedelics that exist within it they won't poison you. You can't die from them, right? And when I learned that knowledge, I was like, oh shit. Okay, so you're saying that no matter how fucking weird things get, one time I'll go to sleep and I'll wake up and then I'll be fine the next day. I can deal with that.
And you won't even have an ugly fucking alcohol hangover.
Yeah. And so like I started doing a little more mushrooms. And then I finally got braver and braver. And like I was going out to like weird goth pansexual drag nightclub dance parties, shooting photos for the Belay brothers that have an incredible show called Dragula on Netflix if you haven't seen it. And just finally finding like my people. Like I was becoming more okay with being in strange spaces because I was open to having such strange experiences with these people, and like it made me so much more open and accepting of other people. And ultimately that led to a greater acceptance of queer culture and like a accepting mindset of like this thing that ultimately I loved and looked at and was just like, yeah, like I have to hate it because I actually like it so much. Thanks, Dad. And so I just broke through those barriers. And then when I started going out to music festivals and dancing and like starting to do flow in public with like glow props and fire props, and I had gotten much more experienced with psychedelics, I was like, I'm going to go to EDC and I'm going to go big because I know that I'm going to have a good time. I've done up to this many before. And then, so on the way, like I ate like the half ounce before we got there because I thought it was real close and you get there like pretty quickly. Callie, please stop chomping at me. My dog is chomping at me right here. Anyway, went to EDC and just started going into like a really, really hard, strong, I would call it a bad trip, but I also don't think I've ever had a bad trip. And so I got out of that and went through this experience of like realizing who I was and what I was supposed to be doing in life, and like asking myself, what have you done with yourself? Where are you? Like, are you okay with it? Are you happy here? Like truly speaking to myself in a way that's like, wow, I'm really talking to myself. Like I'm really asking myself questions that were too scary to ask before. And it's just like, oh, I do like myself. This is cool. Like I'm happy here, and I'm happy to keep going forward on this path. And so I just like started looking back on all of the traumas that I had gotten over because of the use of psychedelics and MDMA. And now I'm a big advocate for them. They can definitely be abused, just like any substance can.
Oh yeah, definitely.
But like, try abusing mushrooms. You won't feel so good, and you'll have a bad time eventually, and you won't want to do it again.
Well, I hope to never get to the abusing mushrooms stage. I mean, I do them. I mean, it's become actually 2020 has become. I've definitely upped my mushroom usage more than any other year this year.
Thank goodness. Everybody should have.
I mean, that's actually how I spent Christmas. I took 2.5 grams in a chocolate bar and watched Gaspar Noé's Enter the Void.
See, that's a good time.
I didn't know shit about the movie coming into it. Like, have you seen it?
Yeah.
Like, that intro, I'm like, this might have been a bad plan on mushrooms. This may have been a bad plan. And then I'm super engaged.
I've been with friends that have had major freakouts on psychedelics, and it's been like, it turned into the most dangerous game. He thought, long story made short, he thought that I was someone's scent that was after him. And I ended up chasing my friend 12 miles through Santa Monica in the middle of the night without proper cell phone or any way to contact anybody, while he was like trying to get in people's car and like probably going to end up in jail. It's like, just because like he just had a major disconnection with reality. And like, he told me the next day, he's like, yeah, man, you said everything so calming and like so right that my brain made me think that was too perfect. So it's just like, it's like, all right. Sometimes you just gotta have a trip advisor with you. Somebody willing to run 12 miles after your ass in the middle of the night. It's like, do psychedelics wisely and with people that are there with your best interest. Don't do it with people that'll yell at you or try to freak you out, or like, isn't this fucking weird? Or like people that aren't doing.
I'm running through the forest. You're running through the forest. You're running through the forest. That bullshit.
Yeah, exactly. Just like, I don't hang out with that type of people in my real life anyway. I only hang out with fucking chill people. And if I can't look at them and say, hey, please stop that, and they aren't the type of person that's willing to stop because they respect me as a human being, like, I wouldn't have them in my fucking personal space anyway. I'm definitely not going to have them there while they're tripping. And also, like, people have like weird love experiences and like get really strong connected bonds because it's such a profound experience. So like, be willing to do it with somebody that you're willing to spend your time with if they have a bad trip or a good trip that is like profound for the rest of their life. You want to be a positive memory for these people, not something horrid.
Yeah. Oh, definitely not. Like, and I feel like that's why maybe psychedelics need to be. You shouldn't be. I don't regret doing them as a teenager. Being an immature shit. Definitely didn't have a good Sherpa for it at the time. Like,
right?
Thankfully, nothing ever went really sideways for me. But I was definitely, as a stupid kid, hanging out with people who would fuck with you. Like, it was just part of the experience at the time. And as a kid, didn't see anything wrong with it. As an adult doing it, it's like, man, we were fucking dumb.
Yeah. And so having real first world knowledge that could help me not go into it with such fear, I ended up participating in these substances that like profoundly changed my life and like helped me heal from things that I could have never non-fearfully gotten near. And then later on, doing therapy more, I did something called EMDR, which was like eye movement desensitization rapidization or something like that. And it is a trauma therapy that is even the VA is signed off on it and like, no, this works. And it helps you revisit traumatic points in your memories and like regain control of them and like help heal your inner self and such. And just like the ability to like have your mind freely move around. It's just like you just kind of unlock a bunch of pathways and like unblock dams of thought flow in your mind when you do psychedelics more than anything.
That's fucking amazing. When did you do that?
Do which part? The EMDR?
Yeah.
That was in 2016. That was when I started having those flashbacks that were just too much for me to even handle, and I'd start crying. So I was like, man, I gotta talk to somebody who's got a good therapist. And one of my friends told me, and I was just like, okay, I'll go check this lady out. I'm trying to be an A student, so I read the books and did the work fast, because I was already on a path to healing to the point where like I could think about my traumatic experience. Like I wanted to know what happened, and I was totally open to it. And like I know it really hurt, and I can talk about it and go through it emotionally and speak of it and be fine. But the fact that there was still this trigger in me, and like I didn't feel sad. There was no fear I was actively experiencing. I could tell myself I was okay and it's fine, but like I'm still crying. So there's like a ghost that lives in my head that I can't even see. I don't even know it's in there. Like I have to. How do you get to that? Yeah. Right? I don't even know what it is. I can't even tell you. Please help me tell you. And so it's sort of like a lucid state type of activity where you're able to like kind of walk the path forward and backward and bring guardians and wisdom with you as you do it. It's fucking cool.
That's fucking awesome.
Yeah, I suggest it to everybody. We've all been traumatized in ways that we're so afraid to share, because even thinking that even showing that weakness is accepting death again in a way. And so it's cool. I did a fire walk before I went and started. No, that's not true. I did a fire walk in the middle of doing that type of therapy, and it's just like, yeah, now you can do it. Mind over matter.
Just walked hot coals, like
yeah, hot coals. That was really cool. That wasn't part of the therapy. That was just part of my life experience that was going on simultaneous to this.
Hey, nothing wrong. It all works. Yeah, it all works. Being able to prove to yourself that like you're bigger than some of your fears is fucking important. And like walking on things that are going, in your mind are going to burn you is just something that is completely mind over matter. I'm assuming, like, I have not done it, but like skydiving was like that for me. Like the first time I went skydiving, like fucking terrified, but it was just like, no, I'm gonna get through this. I'm gonna do it, and I did it, and I had a great time because it was the terror was all in my fucking head.
Yeah, conquering fears. It's a big thing.
I'm curious. Do you feel like we're getting much deeper than the show normally gets? So, do you feel this is this experience like life is all we have? Do you believe that there's something after this?
Absolutely. I didn't before I started having flashbacks. But one time when I was laying in a position comfortable on the floor after doing a mushroom, kind of at the end of a mushroom trip. I was just looking for comfort in my body because I hold tension from those traumatic injuries. And I finally laid in a position, and when I got there, I was doing this lucid exercise where you picture yourself as every object in the room, and then like picture what looking at the room would look like if you were the leg of the table, and if you were the pillow cushion, and if you were the smoke detector. And so like you really start building a 3D environment in your head with your eyes closed, and it helps you pull yourself out of your body and start like seeing yourself from like a mental image. And then it's just kind of like, oh shit, I'm flying, I'm doing it. And you're like, you try to not think about it too much, because if you do, then it stops working, right? And I at one point in time, I was just like, man, if I get any more relaxed, I'm going to be dead. And I was just like I can feel myself depressing my breathing. I can feel myself like slowing my thoughts. And it's like, oh shit, I remember this feeling. Oh wow, I'm laying in the exact same position that they found me in when I was found in the desert from the motorcycle accident. Just like, it's like the same sort of gateway here. And it's like, that's nice. this is really nice. And my friends were sort of discussing around the room, one of our friends that died from doing ketamine because, he ended up rolling over and suffocating because somebody wasn't there as his guardian. And like, he should have totally been alive today. And I had this thought to myself of like, I wish somebody would remind us to breathe, or would have reminded us to breathe, because I was laying in the desert face down, not breathing. It's like, time to die. And then I had that thought. I was just like, holy shit, I referred to me as us. I never do that. I'm not like a split person. I've always been me here in charge of this body. It's like, wow, who am I talking to? Who am I addressing right now? Because like, I'm dead, baby. But I'm still this consciousness that is as alert and awake. Like, I knew I was, when I was in my body, I was aware that my body was hurt and I was there not breathing. And it's that same awareness outside of my body where I was just like, oh shit. Wow. And like, as stepping back that far, like, I can just feel a connectedness to an everything in a way that is indescribable, other than the universe wants you to thrive. Like, whatever energy web connects all of this that's making everything vibrate, like whatever that is, it wants you to live and like wants you to be happy.
Hell yeah.
Yeah. So like, I don't know, man. Never, like, no way. Could have never gotten me to believe that before I had my dad's an atheist, and my mom was just sort of silent on religion. So I had much atheism instilled in me until like I had this experience. That's just like, oh, there's something more.
Yeah.
And so like I'd had all these, from like not doing psychedelics and then doing my psychedelic journey, I've had like different memories and flashbacks to this one experience over time. And it's like, the best way I describe it to people is, it's like some things are memories and some things are dreams, and you can usually distinguish between the two, right? So like, I am having a memory about it, not a vision about it.
That's fucking wild, man.
Yeah, totally wild.
I don't want to have to go through what you went through to get there. I'm fucking...
Do psychedelics. It's a much easier road.
I mean, I do. Don't worry, I do. I mean, that's also my New Year's Eve plan. Like, that Christmas is psychedelics, New Year's Eve is going to be psychedelics. So have you ever thought about going down to like South America and doing ayahuasca? Or? Yeah,
but I'm afraid of, it's like a tourist trade down there now.
Yeah.
And it hasn't called me in that way. Not yet. I'll do it one day.
Yeah, because of the tourist trade, and just like, there are scam artists because of the tourist trade. Like, I had a little desire to go down there and do ayahuasca, but I really kind of want to do DMT.
Yeah. It's around. I'll let you know. When this phone call isn't going.
Things on the internet.
When I see you in person, I'll let you know.
Cool. Sometime in 2022, that'll be great.
Yeah, we can meet 6 feet apart, but I'll let you know.
Yes, let us not discuss just crimes on the internet at the moment. But yeah, that always seemed real interesting. The discussion of it, and the intense, supposed to be geometry visions, and it sounded real interesting.
Matt.
Yeah,
I think my brain's empty.
No, your brain is not empty.
It feels nice to get that out occasionally. It's usually on podcasts. It always comes back to this. Why is that? I don't know. I guess because it is what propels my philosophy on life. And I love sharing that with people because, I don't know, I'm still trying to figure it out.
Hey, I would much rather talk about this than what your favorite position is. Yeah, I hope my audience appreciates this too, because you have a rather unique perspective on this shit.
It's been a fun ride. Not where I thought I was going to end up, not the target I was aiming for, but I wouldn't trade it for anything.
I don't think any of us got where we were. Like, none of us in third grade was like, what do you want to be when you grow up? This was not the answer for any of us.
Right.
In third grade, what was your answer, actually?
Well, I wanted to be a stuntman for a really long time, I'd say up until I started really thinking about getting a job, right? And it's like, stuntman doesn't make shit for money, and they get hurt a lot, and like nobody's really covering them, and it's a union you got to get in. It's just like an impossible task.
That's definitely got to be a passion, because the risk versus reward there is just not there in most cases.
Yeah, no, I felt reasonable kid. Just didn't want to take the hard path for sure. Not at that point in my life.
I mean, I don't think most kids are like, I want to take the hard path. I don't think most kids are like, I want to be a CPA when I grow up. Crunching other people's numbers doesn't sound like a fun job. It doesn't sound like a fun job to me as an adult.
It's not a good time for me.
Not me either. But I mean, I was like, I want to make video games. And boy, I'm glad I didn't actually pursue that, because those people have some fucking hellish lives sometimes. These poor video game designers are getting trolled by the people that they made the content for, because it isn't perfect. And then having to put in insane hours to make deadlines, like...
Yeah, no, slave factories exist everywhere.
Yeah, it's a sad state of affairs. I mean, we're probably in one of the easiest times in human existence, but it's still not like it's completely smooth sailing in any way, shape, or form.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't have to worry about like someone kicking in my door and, taking a broadsword to me, but there are other stressors and traumas.
You don't hang out with many barbarians. I'm thinking Conan the Barbarian specifically.
You want to hear the lamentation of their women? How's that cocktail, Mr. Vegas?
Empty my G.
Oh, you gonna make another?
I gotta get through these cherries first.
You can't let those glorious cherries go to waste.
No. More classy when you drink them out of a pickle jar, too.
It is. It is very, very fucking classy. I'm all for it. Absolutely all for it. So what are you looking forward to in 2021, my man?
Directing more movies, creating more content, making more money, helping other people make more money, spreading the knowledge of how to make content to others so they can live a similar life that is where you have so much more freedom to do what you want, because there's this source of income that exists for you to, express yourself and make money for it.
Any particular projects that you have planned?
Just working on some cool stuff for adult time. That's all I can say right now.
Ooh, Secret Squirrel.
Yeah.
Hell yeah. Hell yeah.
Yeah, very excited about that.
Any trips or anything you want to do once we're able to travel again?
Well, I go to the desert regularly, so it's kind of desert season coming up. So I'm always looking to go out into the desert. It's a good place for psychedelics.
So how do you do a desert trip? Like, is it a couple-day affair, or are you just out there for a couple hours?
Fun part about California is there's a lot of desert around us. That's within 2 hours drive. So I can go out, do a desert photo shoot, get the desert that I want, sleep comfortably in my home that same day.
Hell yeah. Hell yeah.
Get in and out on the way home from a photo shoot.
Nice.
Live the dream.
Nice. I didn't know if you wanted to just rough it for a couple days and
sometimes, event camping, but I'm going to stay inside for now, and then I'll appreciate the outside more later.
Nice. Have you done Burning Man in previous years?
Mm-hmm. I did it for 5 years. It was great. One of the times that I did it, I shattered my heel. This was in 2014. And I'm allergic to opiates.
Oof.
Like you can give me morphine because it just knocks me out, but it makes me feel sick. Drugs make me feel awful. I can't do Vicodin. I can't do opiate painkillers. Anyhow, I jumped off a golf cart and I shattered my heel. It exploded it while I was out there, and had an X-ray done while I was out there, and got medical attention, and realized that even if I went home, I would just be sitting there with my leg up and nobody's around to help take care of me. All the people I know are out here. And I can't take drugs while I'm at home. I can take some drugs, but what's working great? These 500 weed cookies that somebody gave me. So I just I didn't sit around at Burning Man. I moved around out there in a pain-induced haze and just like mind over matter plus weed cookie painkiller past a shattered left heel. And it ended up becoming a sort of spiritual experience because it was like, God damn, that's the most painful thing I've ever done and stayed awake for. And just like, geez, what a fun, odd trip. Never thought I would experience Burning Man that way, but I sure did.
Wow. Good on you for doing it. I don't know if I could.
I mean, so if I left, right, it would take me, I would say, 12 hours to leave the event via ambulance to get to an ER, where it would have probably taken me 4 more hours to get into an x-ray, where it would have likely taken me, I don't know, 8 hours to be put in a bed from the ER to not ICU. I wasn't in that condition, but to like a hospital bed where they would take care of me before they discharge me. And then I would have to figure out how to get home because my vehicle was at Burning Man still. Because like nobody there was going to drive me. Everybody's been drinking. Like that, cops are looking for people. I'm not going to do that. So like the expense of doing all of that plus the hospital expense. And then figuring out how to get from Reno to Santa Monica on my own without assistance of other people. They're like, I'm not going to ask you to leave a $500 ticket event when like I'm not out of my mind. I can get there. I don't need someone to hold my hand. Like, I'm not doing that. Like, I appreciate any one of you would have done it if I asked you, but like, nope, won't do it. And so I was just like, you know what? I'm already okay enough right now. Like my foot's up. I'm here with like if I go to an ER, what they will tell me is we can't put a cast on it because it's too swollen. You need to elevate it and let the swelling come down before we can put a cast on it. Like, bitch, I can sit around Burning Man with my foot up. I have a doctor at the camp that can give me pretty much any type of drug I need if I really am in bad shape. He's there. He's an anesthesiologist, and he can manage my pain just fine.
Oh yeah. Well, that's an important part that I didn't know was happening. That you had, someone professional there with you.
Oh yeah. No, well, like the med tent was full of doctors. I got great medical care while I was at Burning Man, totally free. I got a high tech X-ray that was like this weird ultrasound thing that 3D scanned my heel and like told me it was shattered. So like I knew what happened. I was aware of what I was doing, and I knew how like I've injured myself so many times, and I had been a nurse by this point in my life, and so like I knew how to take care of people and like what they're going to do for me in the hospital. And like I could definitely do that for myself here with the assistance of these highly competent people. I'm just in the desert. And it's like, I'm in a city. It's Burning Man. There's anything I need. So if there's really an emergency, like I'm doing this at home, essentially. But my home was in the desert for a while. So weird experience. It's great. Definitely. I rode a bike, one-footed with crutches with a handlebar, trying to get from one side to the other to go see Zed's dad play. Worth it.
Nice. What are your feelings on how Burning Man has evolved and changed over the years?
At some point in time, it got much louder, and then it got quieter, which was nice. It was so bad because everybody was allowed to be so loud that you couldn't be far enough away from one camp to not have muddied music in another camp. So it was like asynchronous metronomes all the time. And for someone that works off of music and beat and tempo so regularly for timing in my life, like it fucked me up. It really like hurt me in the soul. So that got fixed the year after, and I had, like an adult, complained. I wrote a letter. Like, hey guys, this
You
made it a
Karen's
bad
Burning
time.
Man? You asked to speak to the manager?
I did. Like, I don't know if it was my words doing it, but like, or it just incidentally happened. But like, that was too much.
Well, I can definitely understand, like, it negatively affecting people's time.
Yeah, everybody else didn't seem to care, but like, man, I care.
Well, I'm sure they
Something.
care. They probably just were like, this is part of the experience. You just live with it.
Yeah, it's a bad time.
I mean, I've never been, but from what I've been led to believe, that it's gotten much more commercial, and like the spirit of sharing isn't quite what it used to be.
It's definitely become a more well-known destination that partiers flock to. It's like, what was the full moon beach party in Thailand before Westerners started going to it? Different, but still a fun, cool event. I was just talking with Susie Q, saying I'm interested to see how it returns, because it will actually be an all-new event this time. Like, who knows how it's going to unfold? It'll be back in one form or another, but we'll find out how, right?
I mean, it's going to be interesting to see once we're able to get it back out into the world. Again, just how much little things have changed. Like, how many of your favorite little restaurants or venues are going to be fucking gone? Especially if ones that aren't in cities you live in. Like, Tokyo is one of my fucking happy places. I love that fucking city.
Mm-hmm.
And I was just talking to somebody about it the other day, and it was just like, oh, if you ever make it back there, you gotta check out this bar in Shinjuku. And I'm like, I don't even actually know if that bar is still gonna exist by the time we can make it back.
Yeah. So, it's like, I'm just hoping to get back to Tokyo.
Yeah. And make new adventures and find new awesome things. Because stuff will rise from the fucking ashes of all this shit. Though, we may actually see some really cool shit come out of this, because as places are shutting down, the building owners got to try and make some income at some point, and the rents may go down. Other people that weren't in such a great financial position to have establishments may open up some awesome things. Never know.
Definitely a shakeup.
Shakeups are uncomfortable, but generally some good shit can come from them.
Yeah, agreed.
And that's, one of the important things in life is fucking be uncomfortable sometimes, and they'll fucking produce amazing results.
Mm-hmm. I agree. Art is pain.
Life is pain. It's just, it's one of those things. I'm really excited and a little anxious about what the future holds after this. We don't know. We don't fucking know. Like, what going to a concert's going to be fucking like. Live Nation was talking about, like, when they're reopening, one of their plans is to, like, make sure that you have, like, a 24-hour COVID test, and then have you sign a waiver that if you get sick, then they're not liable, and temperature check everyone as they come in.
I like that. I want to see how they'll be able to do it.
Yeah. It's a
great idea. Let's see it.
Yeah, let's see the execution on, like, some stadium show. Or going to a football game and being like, and even if that is the precaution, then unless the vaccine's really kicking in, that ain't gonna matter. Still, people are gonna get sick. For me, I wanna go to shows again. I want to travel again, and I'm just really curious to see what the world's gonna look like trying to do that shit in the future. Just shit we took for fucking granted. Hanging out in bars and shit like that.
Mm-hmm.
Is it all going to be reduced capacity forever?
Yeah. Just hanging out in general.
Yeah. It's amazing how much, like, oh yeah, just popping into my local bar and being like, oh, I'm going to just see people because I just feel like getting out of my house, and just like, oh, hey, that's not an option. But I'm super glad we're not doing this in 1918.
Definitely. We're much better prepared for it.
Yeah. We just have a lot more distractions. I mean, how would you spend your days if you're just stuck at home, like, with 1918 technology.
I would say gardening.
Just out there, just
Growing that food.
growing that food. So many books read. So many.
So many. All of the classic books.
But at least at that point, yeah. Yeah, it wouldn't be looked down upon to just be pissed drunk all day either.
Yeah. Yeah, well, the Roaring Twenties came out of the 1918 pandemic, so we'll see what comes out of this one. It is the 20s.
It is the 20s. I was actually half joking about this to see what kind of like modern age outlaw, bank robbers and stuff like that we get to see out of this shit like that. A lot of the Roaring 20s, 30s gangsters came out of Depression era politics and the pandemics and all these things. It'd be real interesting, like, when the common people who would never think about a life of crime just all of a sudden turn to it because they have no other fucking options.
Yeah, man, it's upon us.
Yeah. I mean, technically, almost every form of the internet just became illegal today, or yesterday. Because the new copyright law that got passed as part of the spending bill. Technically, it's illegal to share someone else's meme.
Mm-hmm.
It's like, what? Are you kidding me? I may look at doing 10 years for sharing a meme. Were you aware of that, or?
Yeah, I mean, what it makes me think is, like, in the beginning of Instagram, I was very adamant about, like, nah, man, everything you see here is it's like, this is my content. This is something that I've made. And that just wasn't heavily rewarded on social media platforms. They seem to be all about sharing. Like, you guys just want to share the same thing that's being shared. Like, all right. So I finally got on board with that and started reposting other people's memes because, like, that's what you do on the internet, right? Well, if it's changed, it's like, oh, good. So I'll go back to creating original content. I'm good at it.
I'm okay at it, but the problem is a lot of my original content, I borrow stuff from.
Yeah, but like, now examine what made your old content a success and make it yourself. You're a content creator. You know how to do it. You just have to add a couple extra steps. And like, not everybody can do that. That's where it's time to, it's sink or swim in this way.
Yeah.
The rules change. Rules change. We can fight it and like, hopefully it gets repealed. But like, I'm not going to spend another second complaining about it. I'm just going to like start playing with a different set of rules that have been put upon us.
Yeah, I need to see how it plays out because one of my income streams right now is Twitch streaming, which technically all those video games fall under this violation too.
Mm-hmm.
So it's like a lot of the content play is makes me playing copywritten stuff. So like I don't know if I should just be abandon that revenue stream right here, right now, or
do you have to show why? Are the people interested in the game you're playing, or are they interested in you playing the game?
Both.
Okay, so just try making it you playing the game without seeing the game.
Yeah, I mean, that's really the only option.
Great. Yeah. Make your background work more on the shot of you than the game. The game is no longer your crutch.
But I like crutches. But I like it.
They don't actually help you walk.
No, they just support my fat ass.
Yeah, now you got to stand on the painful part and walk through it.
Yeah.
There, you're ready. You're ready. I believe in you.
I'm going to have to. I mean, luckily, this is the main thing, and this is original content. So, yeah, it was just my pandemic crutch of doing stuff that involves a lot of copywritten things. Because in addition to the Twitch streaming, I've been making, silly YouTube videos that involve the Twitch streams, but also we'll have stuff that pop-ups from movies in between them and shit like that, which I just can't do.
Definitely. I love it. And like, it's sad that era is now gone.
Yeah. At least temporarily. I can't stand.
So like, think about how this might affect adult films and adult film producers. Like, somebody's playing my content somewhere else. I have a legal pathway to really have it pay off for me. Like, good, assholes, play it, steal my stuff. And if now I have a legal gateway to like get the money that you're making from this, because like, how dare you pirate it? I didn't say you could do that. You're a pirate. And like, that's what everybody's been saying for a long time. We all just pretended like we weren't.
Yeah.
Like, it's a terrible reality because like we all love doing it. It's so fun. I'm definitely guilty of it. Like, we can do it. We can do it.
I'm sure the technology's out there to be able to encode, content with a fingerprint, where you could tell like, oh, this is mine. I
just always start with the simple watermark. Right? So like I found my content on other websites that don't credit back to me, but like it's definitely my video. I certainly, not only is it me and like I shot it, but here's my watermark. So at least if you've stolen this, everyone looks at what the website is and will still maybe make it back to me. It's a last ditch effort.
But as of today, you could start going after those sites in small claims court.
I sure can.
This is going to be weird new business for the adult entertainment industry. Is just original content creators just being like, oh, now we can actually go after pirates. Because in all things, I feel like porn piracy is still the worst piracy that's happening compared to all the other forms of entertainment.
Yeah, what everybody was so upset about Pornhub doing for so long is in the beginning they were just stealing content, right? So like no matter how much you like them now, in the beginning they just uploaded other people's videos and there was no way to stop them. They became a giant. We had to succumb to the empire. Well, now it's only verified content creators. Why? Because the rest of it was pirated content.
Yep. Well, unfortunately, it was Visa and MasterCard that brought that change around, not doing the right thing.
Yes, it is very unfortunate because when instead of negotiating, you get things taken away by the hand of someone else. There wasn't this like, we can get this out of it, we can get this out of it, and this can actually be a mutual beneficial thing for both of us. There's just nope, daddy's home. You two, stop fighting.
Yep. It'll be interesting because there are whole Discord servers out there of people's pirated OnlyFans content.
Mm-hmm.
And I don't know under this law, like, I believe Discord's liable. I don't know if Discord itself is liable or the server owner or...
I think Discord becomes liable, which means that it will likely just be taken down.
All of these laws, especially because there's one on the books that directly affects the adult entertainment industry right now that hasn't passed yet, which is going to hurt so many content creators.
Yeah.
Like,
I don't know the name of it.
It's the one where it's like stop the sexual exploitation act or something like that.
Oh, it's like SEI.
Yeah.
CA or something like that.
Something like that. Where it's ludicrous. It's going to negatively hurt small content creators, especially if they have their own platforms. If you wanted to maintain michaelvegas.com, you'd have to legally maintain a 24-hour hotline where people could demand takedowns.
Weird.
Yeah, it's in the fucking law. And if someone calls to demand a takedown because they didn't consent to being in that porn, quote unquote, you have to take it down within 2 hours.
What if you have paperwork?
Technically, they consented at that point. Well, that's fine.
Well,
and that's what my point to any of my friends who are civilians who have been like, well, this is just protecting people. Like, if there's not 2257 paperwork in the first place, it's not legally made porn in the first place.
That is exactly like, man, Susie Q and I have been out here preaching this to people, and like, Adult.law will give you all sorts of legal resources on how to deal with this and like cheap lawyer advice on how to adult industry. But like people come into it thinking it's just like it's not a business and doesn't require legal things. Like you can just go do whatever you want. But like, no, man, there have been legal cases fought in battles about sexual exploitation and underage pornography that we have to maintain these standards in order to legally make it. And if you're not doing it and didn't have the paperwork, like, yeah, it shouldn't be on the internet. I'm sorry. I was like, it's unfortunate that you all didn't read the rules when you started playing the game.
Right.
We tried to tell you from step one.
It is hard
to swallow sometimes.
But the problem is it may result in places like Twitter not having not safe for work content on it anymore because it just may not be worth it for Twitter to keep the enforcement of having a 24-hour hotline and takedowns on Twitter. Then it'd just be like, blanket ban all pornographic fucking content.
Yeah, well, some platforms know what they're for.
You may even see some place like OnlyFans do that shit because they don't want the fucking headaches of it. Who knows?
And then something will rise out of that has a simple thing such as an automated hotline that can help you go in a circle until you don't want to register a complaint or finally get to the end where you take an automated complaint. And then that platform that was willing to spend the small amount of money is now making OnlyFans money and they can go fuck themselves. Sorry, everybody. This is how advancement works.
Making a third-party hotline company was kind of an idea I was thinking of.
I mean, like, look, if something that's working gets destroyed by current law, sorry, don't sit there and cry about it. Make a new one.
Well, hopefully we can.
Just gotta keep moving.
Hopefully we can fight that law and it doesn't have to fucking pass. Because that one
exactly.
Because the problem is, I've read the actual like lettering, the text of the bill. There's nothing spelled out in it on how a caller has to verify that they are the performer and that they don't consent. There's nothing spelled out in it.
Yeah.
So
keep doing it until there's a legal battle fought constitutionally around it that says more specific language according to this bill that was written.
Yeah, like, because you can call and be like, I'm Susie Q, take down this content. And they'll be like, by the letter of the law, I have to, because this man who obviously is not Susie Q says he's Susie Q. Like,
yeah. Yeah. So, it's potentially, yes, it could be horrible.
Yeah.
But also potentially it could just be if you've been making content within the confines of the law currently, you will all of a sudden find yourself at the top of the game.
Yeah. I mean, performers out there that are listening, if you are shooting OnlyFans content and you're not getting 2257 paperwork, you're fucking up.
Mm-hmm. That's true. I have a lot of content that I've been chasing people down because I forgot to get them to sign the paperwork because, like, it's hard to remember to do all these things, especially when you're horny and trying to have sex with one of your friends. Well, like, making them sign paperwork beforehand is sometimes I've just forgotten. I think like it's good to have a crew, so the crew can be like, "Hey, Michael, like do paperwork."
Yeah,
oh, fuck yes.
That's why you need a good PA. That's their fucking job. Is like,
yes,
give me your bunny ears, sign this fucking paperwork.
Yeah.
Now you two go have sex.
And then the organization of it, there's like organizational tools to help people do it now. So, like, and you can go back if you're afraid of this happening, do the work that it takes. Go back through your content, find the people, and estimate when the scene was shot, and say, "Hey, I have this scene that I want to keep using. Am I allowed to use it? You're in it. Do you have a copy of it? Would you like it? I'll send you paperwork too. Do you want it? Okay. Yes. Good. Go on about your day. It has now become a legal piece of content.
Yep.
Like they consented to it on paper. Like I've definitely gone back and written up paperwork that was destroyed or redone to make up for the scene so it can legally be used on the internet. It's not an impossibility. We're not destroying people's chances at a future. We're just creating, someone put their foot down, was like, you have to do this so we can stop having potentially exploited people online. That's like, it's,
yeah. And
I hate the way it was done. Well,
and it was one of those things where, like, I referred to this to one of my friends, like, They decided to go for an amputation when all we needed was some stitches.
Exactly. And that's what I'm saying. Like, the person with the axe that doesn't have time to deal with the small cut comes through and sees this thing that's trying to gangrene, and he just cuts off the limb instead of dealing with the wound, just like you said. So it's like you should have worked it out.
Yeah, and nobody who works in this industry wants to see exploited people and people that did not consent on film. No one.
Nobody.
Yeah, no one is out here cheering for those assholes who was it Girls Do Porn?
Yeah.
No one's cheering for those assholes. Like, we all want to see them punished.
Yeah, exactly. And so if there isn't, if it's done amorally, I've been part of APAC, the Adult Performer Advocacy Committee, and we work with FSC and we work with other groups to try to clean up this town. But, like, I love the adult industry, and we're trying to make it a place that is safe for people to come, like, to be performers. It's the entertainment space. It can be very exploitative, and we're hoping to educate people so that they don't exploit themselves on accident, so they don't exploit other people, because a lot of people aren't trying to do it. They just don't know any better. And it happens, and then people...
And unfortunately, it is not in some people's best interest to educate newer performers. And that's a lot of the reason it doesn't happen, because it's just not in some people's best interest.
That's exploitation, because they're not going into it with, like, full knowledge of the situation. So,
yeah,
some people can't educate new performers because they just don't know.
Yeah, it's amazing how many people who have been in this industry a long time don't understand a lot of the rules and regs and laws that go into this. It's amazing. Like, I have never been a performer. I've never wanted to be a performer. Hell, I've never actually produced content for myself, but I'm fairly aware of the regs, the laws, and things that have to go into this. And I talk to performers who have been in for years who don't know things like, your agent legally has to, in the state of California, maintain workers' comp insurance for you if your set is underinsured. You're injured on set, your agent has to provide you with workers' comp. And I get performers who look at me like, what? Huh? And to me, it's just like, this feels like 101 shit. Like, this is like porn 101. These are things you should know.
Yeah, exactly.
And hopefully we get to a point where people, get in and are taught these things, so we have a cleaner environment. Just because more above board the environment is, it gives less of the world that wants to beat porn down and destroy it, gives them less chance to do so.
I feel like it comes down to unionized practices and unionized labor, where you can have, like, it's like, here's, now there's a bunch of independent gateways to get into this porn world of acting. And if you had a more consolidated gateway where it's like, these sets are unionized sets and they understand that the rules are this, we've all come together and we've talked about it and we've agreed into the system, go forth, little birdies. You're likely to be able to do some safe acting on these sets, because there aren't people that have faulty stunt equipment, don't give you a meal on time, don't provide water or sanitary supplies. Like, you know what I mean? Like, just simple things that, like, that's what unions are for. So, how do you unionize cats? It's hard.
It's really difficult. Hell, I mean, there technically is a union right now somewhere out there, isn't there? That everyone just kind of went.
Yeah, well, the person who's in charge of it starts fights. And so it's not something that's easy to be a part of. Like, I see what they're doing, and sometimes their mission is lost, their message is lost because of its delivery, and it's just like, it's like, it's not always a good look, and it's not really getting anything done forward facing enough for people to understand why to do it. Previously, people wouldn't. Like, now is its time to come up, because previously we weren't making enough money to just be like, no, we're not going to show up to these mainstream sets and give what they take us. Now that we have our own ways to feed ourselves, it's like, we don't have to show up at these mainstream sets. I don't need to be a part of a union because I'm making money for myself on my own terms with my own camera about myself.
Right.
So
how do you get people to unionize that don't need it?
Yeah, like it's different. It's different now. So the environment has changed so rapidly that, like, who knows? There's still the need for it. Those mainstream sets still exist in a way. Some of them may have gone by the wayside. Some people may have gotten training by now. So it's different. We'll see where we get.
2021 is going to be a very interesting year to see how the industry goes forward altogether. But there are definitely going to be changes with how content's created, how content's bought, how content is, what studios are still around, who decides this business is still worth it for them.
Big changes coming, and like, guess what, everybody? They're not fucking around. Make content the legal way.
100%.
Yeah, there's just, they're not going to show you any mercy because you're just some random content creator on the internet. Like, I'm just a lowly porn performer. Why would they look at me? Well, like, who knows? But they might. And then we hear a complaint from you that's a woe is me story that could have been prevented. Like, let's work on preventing stuff and seeing where let's look ahead at the road and see where the potholes are and like jump over them.
Well, one question I have for you, you may or may not know the answer. I know you're not a lawyer, but this is something Federosi had mentioned to me.
Join adult.law because you have access to lawyers in a subscription-based service, and it's like $100 a month, and you get to actually speak to a lawyer and listen to these podcasts and informationals that is like has the real answers to most of the topics that I've brought up, which is why I'm looking at you this way.
Well, maybe you know the answer. Maybe you'll have to go to adultlaw.com. But Federosi mentioned this to me years ago when I was thinking about creating content when I still lived in Chicago.
Mm-hmm.
Because legally, pornography is only legal to be created in California and New Hampshire.
Mm-hmm.
Technically, a 2257 model release isn't binding Nevada, Florida, any other place you're creating content. Because you cannot create a contract for something that's illegal. So,
not many people obey that law, do they?
Oh, no, they certainly don't. But the thing about it is, with this new consent law, if you even got your model releases and everything like that, and you're shooting in Vegas, could that performer turn around and be like, nope, take that scene down at this point? That
is an unfought legal battle, is the answer. Like, we don't know. There hasn't been a legal case fought in court over it, and that's where the law exists and where lawyers exist, is to talk about loopholes and things. And so, like, maybe are the consent laws close enough in Nevada to California that it still counts, or do we ask that because it was created somewhere where pornography is technically illegal, that this was an illegal, non-binding contract?
Yeah, that's real interesting. I'm not giving any Vegas performers ideas. Don't do it. Don't do it.
But if you had that question, you could go on adult.law and find out for real. Now, that's a great question. I would need to write that down.
I'll text it to you.
Yeah, because let me try to get an answer for you. I bet I can get a podcast done about this very thing, or there's likely one that is already available on the website.
Yeah, no, it's just one of those things where, because a lot of people from the industry do listen to this, and it was just one of those things where, that was a concern. Because when I was thinking about making content when I still lived in Chicago, Federosi at the time just said, if someone challenges, you got to get the 2257 paperwork for the feds. But if someone challenges the model release and it was shot in Chicago, you just have to take it down, is what he told me at the time.
That's pretty much right. There's no pulling any punches about it. That's just what the law says. And that's why it's
Do you think everybody doesn't want to just go to New Hampshire or Arizona or wherever it's cheap to live and make these movies? Like, reasons.
Yeah. It, it'll be real interesting to see how that happens if legal challenges start happening from it.
Yeah. Hopefully they don't happen like we have predicted they could.
Yeah, and hopefully someone starts pressuring lawmakers in at least Nevada to like change the laws on the books. Michael, I promised you I'd get you out of here. It's been a goddamn pleasure.
Matt, thank you so much. It's always a great time talking to you.
You as well. But before you run, where can they find you on the things?
Oh, there's so many places to find me, so I'm going to go through all of them.
Please do.
The one where you can see me doing the most outrageous, crazy pegging scenes is peghim.com. And the one, if you want to see my artwork, you can go to thesoulthiefvision.com. The Soul Thief Vision sticker I made. And, you know, that's photography work ranging from landscape to portrait to abstract to adventure party. Like, I just love using my camera, and you can go check out some of my favorite shots there. That bridges over into Instagram, where at Soul Thief Vision, not that, I think, is it the, yeah, at Soul Thief Vision on Instagram will get you just so many cool photos you don't even know what to do with yourself. And then there's the Michael Vegas Instagram, which is obviously my performer page, but since that is likely to arbitrarily be taken down, I started one that is pigdaddy_, and that's just Michael.
Hell yeah. Check out Michael on all his things.
What else do I have? Oh, at It's Michael Vegas on Twitter. I do business. It's fun. Random thoughts.
If people want to look into APAC, where could they go for that?
Let's see. I haven't been a part of APAC for the board changed over, and I can't remember the website address, but it's APAC Social on Twitter. It will be a good way to get in contact with anybody you need from APAC. It's the best bridge to start.
Hell yeah.
APAC.com, APAC.org. I don't know, but look up Adult Performer Advocacy Committee. You'll find it.
And they do good things. They really do.
They do good things. They're there fighting for performers' rights.
Hell yeah. Michael, it was a pleasure. And as always, you can find me at Matt_Slayer on Twitter, Matt Slayer on Instagram, Matt F. Slayer on Facebook, twitch.tv/Matt F. Slayer until they copyright ban me out of existence. You can find the podcast at And Now We Drink on Twitter, and Now We Drink _ on Instagram. And until next week, drink up, motherfuckers.